And welcome back to another episode of the Game Language Podcast, where we deduce, dissect, and discuss video games and whether or not they speak our language. I'm Troy, and with me always is
Jason.
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, you know.
Just
I
hanging
always
out.
start out with that because we are roommates, so you probably do know that I'm here.
Yeah. I see you a lot. And today we have a guest. With us today is Travis. He's my boss. He's a man who I was super surprised that once you came in, you were a huge game nerd. So you started talking about video games like all the time. So I was like, this is perfect. We got to get him on an episode. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
That's good. That's good. Definitely want to get into what you're playing, but first I want to get a small introduction, ask you a couple questions so people can learn a little bit about you. First and foremost, how often do you game?
Let's see. I wrote some of these questions down. So I pretty much game every day. Given the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I get up early to exercise and meditate and kind of spend time with myself, but that also includes playing video games.
Yeah.
Or just before work, I've got kids before they get up. It's great for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I definitely I wish I would wake up earlier and game, but I game really late at night. And so a lot of the times my gaming sessions are just like a haze of like almost in and out of consciousness, just grinding like one more. I
call that a walking up the mountain with a fishing pole in hand moment.
Yeah.
Which came from Skyrim, where I got the fishing mod, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go fishing. And it was late at night, and I found myself walking up a mountain with a fishing pole. Like, I kind of startled awake, and I was like, okay, time to go to sleep.
What am I doing?
Yeah, what am I doing?
That's great. And then second question, what game genre stands out to you most?
JRPGs is probably my hyperfixation right now. As far as games go, I didn't even really get into RPGs until last year. I had always been interested, but they seemed complicated.
Yeah,
and some of them are, and that's. But I've fallen in love with the challenge.
Yeah,
and the grind and learning. The best way to do, parts of that game.
Yeah. Do you remember which was the first RPG you played?
Oh,
like
last year?
Yeah.
Super Mario RPG.
Yeah.
Original SNES.
I still gotta play.
Nice.
I
love that one.
It's so good.
It's such a good one.
And I love it because it's a Square Enix game.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a Nintendo game, but Square Enix produced it, and there's a secret boss that's designed by Tetsuya Nomura.
Yeah.
Who we can talk about later because he's awesome, and he is not like any of the other Super Mario bosses.
Yeah.
His name's Kulex.
Yeah.
And he's like this big demon. He's a secret boss.
Yeah.
And it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only boss I have left to fight. I've beaten everyone else.
Yeah.
But that was my first into the RPG realm.
It's a great first RPG. I think that
Oh,
was
it's
like
wonderful.
my first one too when I was a kid.
And it's short enough to be entertaining without feeling like you're drowning in it.
It's only like 15 to 20 hours, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I clocked about 15 on it. Which in a similar type of game, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, I played shortly after that. That was about 20 hours. It was a Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah.
And the combat system is so good. And I saw a funny meme about basically they took baseball players and overlaid the commands from Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga and then put the battle music over it, and they were kind of dancing side to side how they do in the game. It was funny.
Oh, damn. I got to see that.
Oh, man.
Third question. What are some game mechanics you enjoy or wish were better represented?
I really like when you're able to, specifically in RPGs, action or turn-based, when you're able to use all or some of your party members to do combined attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some notes on that. So specifically, like in Chrono Trigger, you could do 2 or 3 person attacks. Super Mario RPG Remake had the triple attack, which was not in the SNES version of it. Sea of Stars
Yeah, we've been
does
playing
it
Sea of
so
Stars,
beautifully, and you can do it with almost every character.
Yeah. I think part of the reason I downloaded Mario and Luigi Brothership is to get that experience of doing the little mini games of combined attacks between the two of them to get different effects. But I agree with you. I like that. I also like it when you can use every party member that you have, like in Final Fantasy. I think in 10 you can pull people in out of the back line, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I like that when you can use your full party to their full extent.
I did like how in Final Fantasy VII, when you fight Sephiroth at the end, you switch. You can go to with everyone who's in your party. Well, I guess it's 6 party members, but so whatever 6 you brought to the end, that's you can switch out fighting Sephiroth that way.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Never made it past. I beat Midgar in the original 7, but then once I got to the open world, I was like, I'm just gonna play 7 remake.
Yeah, it's so funny because the remake is basically the first 5 hours of the original expanded into a 40-hour game.
Oh yeah, because that's how long it took me. I only had like 5 hours of playtime, and I beat Midgar. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost after that.
I would like to see an actual. Well, I know that there's a Final Fantasy on the phone, the one that does a Ever Crisis, which is like an updated version of the game, but it's also a mobile game.
Yeah.
But I would like to play the original Final Fantasy, but with updated models, because I love the little chibi models that they have. So I've always wanted to see them updated in a regular game. All right, final question. Which video game character best represents you?
So in recently playing Final Fantasy VIII, my first thought was Squall, because he's kind of reserved, he's quiet, but also he just seems really angry. And so I kind of shifted more to Chrono from Chrono Trigger because in my opinion, he's selfless and brave, and he's tough, and those are attributes that I would like to emulate or hold dear.
I think that's it. I was gonna say, I find you you have a lot more joy than Squall does. So.
He's kind of a sour guy.
Yeah, he's a sour guy. Like when he goes in a room, all the energy is sucked out. When you come in a room, it's the exact opposite. So I was gonna say, I was like, I'm like, I understand the Squall, but I was like, personally, I was going to say I don't feel like you are nearly as much of a headache as him, and I like the guy.
Yeah, he's a great character.
And then final bonus question: if you can take one item from any video game character, what would you take, and what would you use it on?
I think Chrono Trigger is one of my favorite games.
Yes,
and so I will reference it often in my life. I did a whole slideshow on why you should play Chrono Trigger for our slideshow night that me and my friends had. And so with that said, it would probably be something that would allow me to time travel.
Yeah.
Like the pendant or even the time travel machine that they eventually get.
Okay.
That would be so cool.
So if you could time travel, what's one thing you would do with time travel?
I'd go see a Led Zeppelin concert.
Nice. That's awesome.
Just go back to the 70s and see all the musicians that I would have loved to see live and just see them live. And I don't know, buy one of those magazines that they got in Back to the Future 2 that with all the betting results.
Oh.
Like sports stats, and then I would be rich in the future.
Yeah.
So I'd go to the 80s, grab that magazine, go to a concert, come back.
Yeah.
And then I'd be rich.
That's smart. Okay. But thanks for answering those introduction questions. The only last question left to ask is, what you guys been playing lately? Anything specific? What about you, Jason?
Oh, I mean, surprise, surprise. I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter Wilds.
I don't even know why I asked the question because I could hear your ass.
I know. It gives me joy.
Yeah.
It makes me jolly. It's great. I have been playing Donkey Kong Country Returns. I got past World 5. I'm on the 6th world now, finally. That game's hard. I've died a lot, especially to the Minecraft levels.
Yeah.
Like not Minecraft, the
The
Minecart.
minecarts.
I know what you meant.
The anxiety
Yeah.
levels.
I translated.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I played Tropical Freeze. And I love Tropical Freeze, and it was hard too. But Returns, a little on the jankier side.
Yeah.
There's some really tight platforming that I'm just like, you guys are evil for this one. Like, what the heck? Like,
You got to be locked in to do it.
yeah, they have a lot of like the minecarts where like you have to hold down to like duck underneath like stalagmites and the spikes, but then they like want you to go like right off the edge and then jump, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't feel like I should be able to jump out of air, but
Isn't that like the Donkey Kong thing? Is
well,
roll jump?
roll jump, but that's for speedrunners. So it's just been it's been interesting. I still love it though because I love Donkey Kong Country. And I never played Returns when it was
Yeah.
originally on Wii, so it's been nice to go back to it and see some good levels.
Do you ever get into any of the Donkey Kong Country ROM hacks?
I have not, no.
They make some very difficult levels.
I bet.
Yeah, some of the player created levels are. It's like, well, only robots can beat this.
That's how Super Mario Maker feels.
Yeah.
too,
Yeah.
When you get into the like higher levels.
That's why I just like playing the one where I put it down and just watch it do stuff. You know, like they just build a stage where they let you put it down and just goes through a track essentially in Mario Maker. That's the only thing I really liked watching.
Yeah, I always played the music ones where it was just hold forward and it'll play like
Yeah.
a song.
Yeah, play like a
while
song,
You see
yeah.
like some weird effects going off. But yeah.
Okay. And then what about you? What you been playing lately?
Primarily Final Fantasy VIII. I'm trying to. It got put on hold for a minute, and I was like, I'm not playing this game anymore. And then
What was the moment that made you say I'm not playing this anymore?
I was stuck at a missile base, and it was like just like a robot that kept chasing me down the road.
Yeah.
I would beat it, and then it would be like, okay, run away now. And so I would run away, and then it would catch up to me, and I'd have to fight it again. And I just got so frustrated.
Oh.
And
all-
then when Final Fantasy IX got the 25th anniversary art came out, I saw a lot of people lamenting that Final Fantasy VIII did not get the same treatment, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I need to give this game another try because so many people love it. There's got to be a reason, and I'm falling in love with it. I'm on disc 3. It's very good. The magic system is not.
Yeah. Yeah. You've kind of given me a little bit of a rundown of that. That just seems. Yeah.
Wait for 8.
Yeah,
I've heard the
the
magic
junction system. You have to assign the summons to each person, which will change their stats, and then you have to draw magic from enemies or draw points that you find throughout the world, and that, depending on however many you draw, that's how many you can use. But that also affects your stats. And so if you have a lot of, say, fire magic and you assign it to your attack stat, you'll have a chance to do fire damage and your attack will go up depending on how many fire you have drawn. It's so very complicated, and when you change party members, you have to transfer everything to that party member.
Yeah. That's. I'm gonna wait for an updated more.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that game will get updated.
A quality of life update.
Yeah, something in some way where I would enjoy that. But for me, I've been playing. I want to say Monster Hunter, a little bit of Path of Exile. We did start an Elden Ring run that we did recently, where we're doing a like full start to finish run. Trying to think.
Oh, who are you doing that with?
With Aaron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Aaron. Yeah, I've been playing a ton of GU. I would say that's probably the thing I'm playing a lot of is Monster Hunter GU. Somehow, some way, I fell in love with that game, and so I've been playing that on the Switch a lot.
Nice.
But yeah,
Nice.
All right. Well, now that we know what we've been playing, let's find out what's going on in the world of gaming. What are 3 bites of news stories? So, keeping it up with Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter Wilds has hit its 10 million mark after a month of being on sale, and it released its first free title update, which I have played a lot of. It's been fantastic. They added Mitsusune and Zoshia, the Grand Hub, and the Diva. And that song's been stuck in my head.
I think the Diva is the best part of the title update for me.
Yeah, for me, to be honest, I think Zoshi is. They finally gave me a monster that's difficult. Hasn't been difficult for me, unfortunately. I think I'm a little over-tuned from grinding too much. But it's still been fun to have a monster that doesn't just get stun-locked the whole time. Because that's Mitsusune, because it's a lower-ranked monster. I fought them. And I love them. I love their new theme. I love the new look. And I'm like, this was one of my favorite monsters. I bullied the shit out of that monster. Like, it is it's just dead the whole time. Whenever I do any power attack, it just gets stun locked and knocked over. So I've been really a big fan of Zoshia because I'm just like, I actually got to like play Monster Hunter to beat you again. But next up on the news, sad one. We just got the announcement of the Nintendo Switch 2, and we knew the pre-orders were going to be up, but they just delayed them indefinitely in America only because of our current president's tariffs that he's going to be imposing on Vietnam, China, and Japan. So that sucks, but hopefully that gets resolved soon so that we can find out if we're paying $600 for the Switch 2 or not. And then, what's up?
No, just you could.
The last bit of news, Ubisoft has made a deal with Tencent. If you know who Tencent is, they're a giant Chinese organization that owns about 90% of the game industry, it seems.
Yeah, dude, I keep hearing Tencent all over the place.
Yeah, they kind of own everything.
Wait, did they do Pokemon Go?
No,
or was that somebody else?
That's Niantic. But
Niantic, yeah.
No, someone just bought Pokemon Go.
Oh, that was the last episode's news story. Yeah. No, that's a Saudi Arabian company that bought that one. I forgot the name of it. I think it's Scopely, but I'm not sure. But yeah, no, I was surprised it wasn't Tencent. But yeah, Ubisoft made a deal, and they've created a new subsidiary. Now, what that means is Ubisoft's been in financial trouble for like the last 3 to 5 years. Just haven't had a lot of good hits. And they're looking for a way out, essentially, and this is their way of doing that while still maintaining their intellectual property. So what they've done is that they've made this new subsidiary, and they've moved the licenses of Assassin's Creed and the Rainbow Six Siege franchise, and I think 1 or 2 other ones. I haven't been able to get like a confirmation on that, but they essentially are just giving their top dog ones. So like Just Dance, Rayman seems to be getting left behind to the old Ubisoft.
But Just Dance.
And Just Dance, yeah. And the other thing that... So it's a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's good that Assassin's Creed and Rainbow Six, like, you know, the franchises that do make money, it is cool that they'll get another chance at life. But at the same time, like, Ubisoft employs 20,000 people, and Tencent does not let like more people, like Tencent's the reason that like Marvel Rivals like just completely shut down the American branch, even though Marvel Rivals is doing incredible.
Oh wow.
Tencent doesn't allow for chaff, like no extra. They're all strictly business. If we can make the game without you, we're going to make the game without you. It seems like that's how they rule. So bit scared for Ubisoft with that, just because again, they've been a big like source of job and employment for a lot of the countries that they're in. Because they're usually backed by the government too, because they're a French company, but also in Canada, they get government funding as well. So it's just a little worrying. I feel bad for developers because this is we haven't had major layoffs yet, but you know, a lot of developers have been on social media talking about their fear of that. And so it stinks.
Yeah. I hope for a positive outcome for them. We can't really have great games without great developers, and it's always been a really volatile environment, and that's the last thing I want to hear is like more people losing more jobs. So fingers crossed that that we don't lose too many.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the news. You know, 1 good, 2 downers.
Yeah. Hopefully next time there's better news.
Yeah. We'll be hoping.
Yeah. With that, we're gonna move into our game 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jason's pretty familiar, so I'll give you a quick rundown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is a game where we choose 5 games from a specific genre. The genre that we're choosing today is just launch titles. So these will be 5 launch titles for different systems. Of those 5 games, we choose 4 to represent. From those 4, we'll choose 1, and we'll do 3 sounds. If you can guess the 3 sounds, you get 3 points for that game. From another one of the games, we'll choose 2 character names. If you can guess the 2 character names from that game, or you guess the name of the game from the 2 characters, you get 2 points. And then finally, we'll choose 1 obscure fact from one of the final games. And if you can guess that obscure fact, that's 1 point. The final point you can get is if you can guess which game we left out.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So with that, we're going to have, since we have the guest, do you want to guess first or you want us to guess first?
I'll guess first.
Okay, so Jason will guess first to kind of give us a rundown on how it goes. So we'll have Adonis go ahead and play 3 sounds from the game I chose.
Goodness. No, that's an interesting one. Is that Breath of the Wild?
It is not.
Whoa.
It's Sonic Adventure. Yeah. I tried to pick sounds that weren't too obvious because I was listening through them. I'm like, that's a spring, that's a jump, that's a spin dash. I was like, that's light speed dash. So I thought, you might be able to guess from the shuffle of the feet. But yeah, okay. That was
No,
Sonic
that's a good
Adventure.
one. Yeah.
Okay, and then let me give you the 2 character names, okay?
Okay.
Ty and Spoon. Ty and Spoon.
Tie and Spoon. Ridge Racer?
No, that's Breath of the Wild. So there's 2 guys that are, I went and looked through all the different NPCs that walk around, and I picked 2 that I remember seeing, but I didn't know their names. I just liked the way that they looked, and it was Ty and Spoon.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So just 2 of the Hylians that are walking around all the time.
Gotcha.
Okay. And then finally, this obscure fact. So this one should be pretty easy. This game was originally going to be made for Macintosh before the rights were purchased by the familiar company that we know today.
It's Halo.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I figured you know that
I
one.
watched the hour-long presentation of what it used to look like. I'm glad Microsoft bought it.
And then which game did I choose not to represent?
Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
I figured.
Yeah,
I figured.
Yeah.
All right.
So with that, you got 2 points?
Yeah, I just got the last 2.
Okay, 2 points, 2 points. Okay, so we'll go ahead and
Yeah.
guess the sounds, the names, and then the last 2.
Okay. Now, what
Alright.
are the games again?
Oh yeah. So the games we have are Super Mario 64, Halo Combat Evolved, Ridge Racer, Sonic Adventure, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
All of which are launch titles.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Okay. Okay. I think I know what that is. Okay, I don't think I know what that is. Do you have any?
The second one was water. There was water in the clip.
It's. Can we have that one more time? Is that okay?
That's sure.
Yeah.
I don't mind the replay.
Well, now I don't know. It sounded like an explosion.
So
in
it can
water.
either be a grunt exploding, or it could be the sound of when you throw a bomb into one of the swimming guys in Breath of the Wild, and they
Yeah.
eat the bomb and they blow
That's
up.
what I was
The
thinking.
Octoroks.
The Octoroks. I think it's the
Is it
Octoroks.
Breath of the
Is it
Wild?
Breath of the Wild?
It is not. It's Halo.
Damn it!
It was the flood.
It was a flood. Oh, you piece
I
of
grabbed all the flood clips because I was like, if I do the Covenant, you guys are gonna know
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah. Damn it! Good job. Good job.
All right. For the 2 names, I have Lil Penguin, Lil, and Yellow Rabbit.
I think that's
Super
got to be
Mario
Super Mario
64.
64.
Yeah, you both got that one.
Yeah.
All right. Now for the obscure fact. In the demo presentation for this game, it originally had a female cowgirl billboard in it that moaned when you approached to it. What game is this?
What?
Is
You
it
want me-
Ridge Racer?
I believe it's Ridge Racer, but I don't want to get. Can you say that one more time, please?
I don't
So
wanna
the
guess
obscure
yet.
fact, in the demo presentation of this game, they
Yeah.
showed off a level.
Yeah.
in that level, there was a billboard of a cowgirl
Yeah,
that moaned when you approached to it.
naturally.
And it went,
Okay. Ridge Racer.
You both lock in Ridge Racer?
Yeah.
You're incorrect. It's Sonic Adventure.
What?
What?
It's the casino level.
What?
Yeah, I went and researched it this morning, and I was like, oh my, that one's going to throw you.
That is.
All
yeah.
right. All right. And what game for the bonus did I leave out?
So you had Halo,
Super Mario.
Super Mario, Sonic Adventure.
Breath of the Wild.
I don't think you would have had the heart to leave out Breath of the Wild. So I would say Ridge Racer.
You're right. I left out Ridge Racer. I appreciate that you would think I would throw down Zelda.
No,
I don't think he'd have the heart.
Yeah, no,
I was
didn't.
looking for something that may have thrown us off.
Oh,
but-
yeah, no. No, that was a good guess.
Okay,
It's a good thing you guys were teaming.
that's right.
You definitely got more points than I did because you guys both got
I got
the names.
yeah, we both got the names. Then you guessed Zelda on the last one. I guessed Ridge Racer. So we got
5 points total.
yeah.
Man, 5-2. I'm drowning over here.
I'll take it. I'm gonna need all the help I can. All right, and with that, that's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thanks
Beautiful.
for playing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I
Yeah.
hope you enjoyed my fun fact.
Yeah.
Also,
We're-
It's a great fun.
Yeah,
fact.
I'll show you the moaning clip too. It was funny. It's the Knuckles level.
of course.
But with that, we're going to move into impressions. And for this week, it's a pretty special one. There was a big event that just happened on Wednesday, and it was the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. They finally revealed to us the console, the games, and all the funky little features, like, implementing the quote-unquote new feature of voice chat.
Yeah.
The oldest feature in video games is finally coming to Nintendo.
Yes.
It natively. I think you could do it through the app for a while.
Yeah. Because I want to use my phone separately from my
Right,
game
yeah.
to do the thing that the phone does, which is call people.
Yeah.
I never defended that app. That was one of the oddest decisions I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
Which it's only gonna work. It's gonna work for the first year for free.
For free.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after
you
that
gotta
you
have the
Yeah,
subscription.
you have the subscription. And then if you don't pay for it, you'll just have a C button that doesn't work,
That's right.
which will be funny. This is
I
Yeah.
wonder if you could map it.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
If I can map it,
That would be cool.
They do let
yeah,
you
then
map buttons? I wonder.
yeah, if I can map
Yeah.
the chat button, that'd be fun.
Yeah. I was going to say, that was on the bits of news, it did start with, like, the consoles features. So let's go into that.
Yeah.
One, screen is about 1.5 inches bigger, almost 2 inches bigger, just a little under. And the screen is now 1080p,
Yeah.
which is amazing. Now, I kind of figured it would be that, but the thing that threw me off was HDR support on the handheld. I figured they'd do it for docked, but I did not think the screen on handheld would have HDR. But the other thing is it has VRR, visual refresh rate, which will help if your game falls below its frame rate targets. It can still look like it, thanks to that technology. And on top of that, it's 120 hertz, so 120 FPS. I didn't think Nintendo would be the one that did this.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I
coming.
thought we were gonna get at most 60 FPS.
Yeah.
But like stable 60 FPS with a higher resolution.
Yeah.
But to bump up the resolution and the FPS, that's it's gonna be insane. And they've already showed what Metroid running at 120,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, that's
I
exciting.
saw a side by side for load times.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
nice.
Well, yeah. On Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
I saw the side by side on that. It's so
And-
fast.
Korok Forest doesn't stutter anymore.
How
Yeah.
took some years, but I'm happy to hear that. I'll go walk
Yeah.
around and actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
They showed off a lot of cool upgrades, especially after the show.
Yeah.
Because during this presentation, they just let us know that things are going to look
It was
better.
happening. Yeah.
But then we got confirmation like Zelda will be running 1440p 60 when docked. So that's pretty cool. But keeping on the hardware, so beyond the screen, we got the updated Joy-Cons as well. They're magnetic now, which is really awesome
I think
because
that's cool.
one of my least favorite things with the Switch is when I'm holding it, it like offsets a
Yes.
little bit because it
Yeah.
doesn't lock in.
Yeah, the rails don't lock in the best.
When I have like long Zelda sessions, I'll have like a little indent right here
Yeah.
from that little offset, and I'm just like, yeah, that sucks. They also made the analog sticks a bit bigger, so thank God.
And hopefully they don't pick up the Switch One drift problem.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm hoping for that.
I think
Especially
with the
they're charging.
ring around it, maybe it'll secure it better.
Yeah, maybe help because a lot of times with like the drift, it was because like dust and stuff got underneath it. Because I've gone through like 6 Joy-Cons because of the drift, and for a couple of them, I've been able to prolong them and fix the drift by removing it and then using like an alcohol swab to like clean up any debris under there. It's usually just a Band-Aid because the dust gets back in there in like 3 weeks. But so I kind of hope that little ring thing is maybe there to protect from that.
I think
That's
at least partially, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be nice. It and kind of going over like the form function of the new controllers. Everything seems a bit bigger, whether it's the controller itself. So
triggers,
hopefully,
yeah.
the triggers are bigger, so it'll be a little bit more comfortable to hold. And then even in addition, what are those two? Is it the ZR or what's on the inside?
yeah, the ZR and ZL.
Yeah, those 2 buttons are going to be bigger too, so maybe that'll create a better experience when you're playing those party games and everybody's using a part of a Joy-Con. Just overall, I think I'm at least hoping that it feels better to hold because I primarily play it in handheld.
Yeah.
So currently with playing a lot of Monster Hunter GU, it is like I'll lay down on my stomach. After a while, my wrist will start to hurt. So then I'll sit up. After that, my like here starts to hurt because of the way it's like I'm holding it. So I have to go through multiple sitting positions to find comfort when playing with the current Switch. But I mean, I still do it because it's so much fun to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm hoping for is that making everything a little bit bigger and more comfortable around the hands will be better. But I do wonder how it'll be for kids. So
Yeah, the other thing too that's important to note is that all of the previous peripherals are supported.
Yeah.
Besides, actually, before someone corrects me, Labo and the Toy-Con VR do not.
Oh,
Yeah.
They are not the size. They don't fit.
I'm not gonna be able to use my Labo.
No, that cardboard you're gonna actually have to put in the recycling bin. But no, it. But yeah, it was cool to see that if you keep your Switch or you had like a bunch of Joy-Cons or Pro controllers, they still work with the Switch 2. So especially if you have friends over and they bring their Joy-Cons because maybe they aren't gonna shell out $500 for the next Switch. They're like, hey, well, I still want to play Mario Kart. You can come over with the Switch Joy-Con 1s and you have a controller.
Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah, so I thought that was really neat. Other highlights, there is now a USB-C drive on both the top and the bottom. So now they listened to me. They listened to me on this one because I don't like playing on dock. Ever since I got a 4K TV, it's looked like hot garbage putting Switch games on the TV for me. Just really, really pixely. So I like to play in tabletop.
Yeah.
Like when I played Splatoon 3 and Tears of the Kingdom, I just put the kickstand on and I'll play it like that because I like the OLED screen and stuff. But when they would die, I would have to like just stop playing,
Walk around your
or
house
switch
for a
to
while,
handheld
just
mode.
wait.
And so having it to where I can just put it at the top and play Mario Kart World while on a tabletop mode is pretty
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're going to need it because the battery power is not good.
I've heard it's trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
2 hours is the minimum.
Oh, man.
wow.
Yeah, the original Switch was 2.5 to 6 hours. This one is 2 hours to 6 hours.
Well,
And I'm going to be real, as someone who plays a lot of Switch, they never hit the top part.
No.
Even indie games seem to just be burning through my battery because 9 hours on the OLED, bullshit. I never got that. But yeah, I'm expecting to have to charge this thing a lot.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mario Kart World, I'm sure, is going to eat through my battery.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, probably. The other thing too is the dedicated microphone. And the cool thing with the microphone, just coinciding with the chat button, it is using NVIDIA technology. So the noise canceling is actually incredibly good. And as someone who uses NVIDIA like noise canceling, I can personally attest to that. It does not pick up chip crunching. I legit eat Doritos while we're in chat because I have been testing it and no one hears it. And I'm
That's
like,
incredible.
how does it not pick up?
Yeah.
Because
That's good to know.
back in the day, at least on all my other headsets, I eat a chip, even if I'm trying to be quiet, it sounds like it reverberates through their ear, and I personally went crunch right into their ear hole, and they're just like, dude, why are you eating? Mute yourself. And it's like, now no one knows, and I'm just like, I'll eat the whole bag.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about all I saw on hardware. I'm sorry. There actually is a little bit more. The dock. The dock now has a cooling
fan
system,
in it. Yeah,
which it didn't before.
I love that.
Which would be nice. And the Joy-Cons having the mouse mode.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Joy-Cons.
There's Civ 7 got announced.
Yeah. So 7. Any first-person shooter is going to feel, or third-person shooter is going to feel a lot better on the Switch. I know that originally we had the gyro shooting, but I wasn't ever a big fan of that. But as a PC gamer, I'm very interested in trying that out. I wonder what game pads and stuff Nintendo's gonna sell, like mouse pads for that. They're gonna have to sell that software or that hardware.
Yeah, I actually didn't think about that, but yeah, gonna buy an
probably.
officially licensed
Yeah,
Zelda one.
they're gonna have Zelda ones. I'm sure they're gonna have a bunch. So, and I wonder if there'll be flat, like use your own surface, or if they'll be like a little bit harder for them to be on any surface. You never know. So they always come up with all the different peripherals. So that's like the one I think about a lot is what's the mouse pad that's gonna come with that.
Yeah, it's cool that both controllers can do
That
it.
is cool.
Yeah.
Did you see that roller?
Yes.
The basketball game.
Yeah, that was really cool. I got to see them actually play it, and so yeah, I feel like there's gonna be a lot of games like that.
Yeah.
Flying games, like piloting games, should be really fun.
Oh yeah. What I'm really looking forward to, because Nintendo tends to do this with like their big action games, is where's the game that makes you switch between the modes? Because I always liked that. Like in Metroid Prime 3, you'd just be shooting normally, and then like you'd get to a door, and it was like, all right, now it's motion time. Like
that would
you'd
be
have
cool.
To, go and do cool stuff. And I'm like, I think it'd be really cool if there was a game where you like get into a ship, and when you get into the ship, they say release the Joy-Cons, and you like do that.
That would be sweet.
That would be a really cool immersive type of style. The possibilities are endless when you have something cool like this. But yeah, that's about as much on the hardware. Did anything else stick out to you guys when you watched the Direct?
The camera.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the camera's really cool. Like in Mario Party, you can use your own face.
Yeah.
And there was even a Mario Party mode for the latest one that was released, where you're basically like punching the boxes yourself. I think that's innovative. That's cool.
That is, that's cool. The only reason I'm not excited for it is because now people are going to see my salty face. Like when I'm playing with them in Mario Party, they're just going to see me angry all the time.
Yeah.
So like,
well, speaking of peripherals, though, I had no interest in the camera, but then I saw the Piranha Plant camera that they have. Because it's the Nintendo officially
like
licensed
3D printed.
And it
Piranha
closes when you don't want the camera on. Like
Yeah,
when
that's
you want to mute it, so it's just like.
That's actually pretty sick.
Yeah.
I like that the one camera can pick up 4 people on your couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And assign it to the different characters.
Yeah, because I want to see the salty face after a Mario Party jamboree.
Yeah.
And it's going to be my salty face. I get owned in Mario Party. Are you kidding? Mario Kart's my game, not Mario Party. I know where I stand in that one. I am the #1 target for getting stolen. I'll sit there and be like, oh, sweet, I got 120 coins. I bet you guys wish you had these. And then they'll get a Bowser space, and then I get owned, and I lose all my money, and they're like, swap with him. I was like, he's got 7 coins. 7 for 120 in this economy?
Yeah.
Like, it's horrible. And they'll do that to me right before I get to the Toad Star. So it's just...
I feel like I do that to my brother. Like he's our target. My baby brother. And he always gets targeted whenever we play those games.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chandler.
Pour one out for Chandler.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the camera's funny. I did see some funny reactions where people are like, I'm going to beat someone on Street Fighter 6, get up and shake my ass on the camera. So I'm like, yeah, welcome back to Xbox 360 Uno. Who remembers that camera?
That's fun. That's funny.
Yeah, it's funny to see that Nintendo is embracing that, of all people. I was like, oh, that's going to be a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, all right. So that's all the hardware. unless I'm forgetting something else. And if I did, shout out in the comments. I'll fix it next time. But let's get on to the games they showed, because surprisingly, they showed a lot.
Yes.
Starting with the big one, Mario Kart World.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think of that?
You go first.
Well, I really like the open world. Like, when I first saw it, I was like, it's going to be open world. Like,
Yeah.
the way the maps were on the big map, I was like, you can drive to these different, I swear it. And it reminds me of Burnout Paradise.
Yeah.
How you drive to your different races, and it's kind of different regions of this paradise world. And I like that freedom, but it's gonna eat battery for sure.
Yes.
Like that. Just the grass generation is. I mean, it was beautiful, and you're driving through these fields, and I'll be the cow the whole time, obviously. And I think it's gonna be a really it's gonna be a time eater. Like sometimes on Red Dead you just ride around on your horse. Well, I think people are going to drive around in Mario Kart worlds with their friends.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I think that it is definitely going to be a time eater, because when you're queued up waiting for a race, you're in the open world. That's your hub.
Yeah.
So, that's the thing I'm most excited for. And the fact that there's different peach coins and regular coins all around for you to pick up. I'm going to be collecting all of it so I can buy whatever costumes and carts that I want, and characters or whatever they might have for unlockables. But yeah, I absolutely think that I'm going to lose so much time in that singular game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, as a big Mario Kart fan, I couldn't have been happier at how this game looks. I love the new mechanics, because the open world part's really cool to me. But I'll be honest, like, I love the racing, and I love what they're changing with it. I
The
love
grinding.
that. Yeah, being able to just
cool.
rail grind is
Yeah.
insane.
They took Mario Kart and they're like, we're going to grab Sonic and put this in here.
Yeah.
Specifically for me too, because
right.
you're going to be jumping left and right on the grind rails, which
Yeah.
is something I'm already used to doing.
It's funny that they do that, and then they go and do the most Mario thing and add wall jumps.
Yeah,
Like
wall
the-
jumps to Mario Kart, yeah.
The wall jumping, I was like, we're playing Super Mario. This actually feels Mario instead of just like a kart racer with
Yeah.
Mario in it. And I couldn't be happier. I love that there's just tons of characters. The fact that it'll be 24-player races sounds chaotic.
Yeah.
If I had to admit a worry, I'm worried as the guy who's usually in first. I am not looking forward to those blue shells, and I know that there's a lot.
23 other blue shells coming at
Yeah,
you.
you got a guaranteed blue shell like
Yeah.
every couple minutes. There's got to be.
I
But
think my strat will be I'm going to hang out in second until the last lap.
That's
Yeah.
a great idea.
So it looks like from when I'm watching the Nintendo Treehouse, a lot of the effects that they've had in the past, like the lightning bolt and even the blue shell, they don't last as long. So you maintain momentum, which is great. So if you get hit by the blue shell, you can kind of get back into your acceleration quicker than before. So it seems like they're accounting for the fact that so many more items are going to be used on people that they've kind of toned down the effects that each item does to you. So
Yeah, I've noticed that too. It was actually such a cool thing. Like, if you hit like a car on the freeway, you bounce. But instead of like stopping, because that's what happens in A, is like you get stopped if you hit a banana or a shell, like it resets your speed at 0. Seems like you're going like 20 miles per hour still. Like, you hit, but your momentum carries and you're
That's
still
interesting.
going.
I like that.
yeah.
So I think that's going to be really cool. I didn't see any purple flames with the drifts, so I think that's been taken out.
Yeah, I think so too.
That was only added in the deluxe version of Mario Kart 8. It wasn't
Yeah.
even in the original MK8 on Wii U, so I'm sad, but I get it. What's the other thing? Oh yeah, they got rid of underwater driving,
Yep.
which
I'm okay with.
this didn't
fine.
really do anything. I like the jet ski better actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It looks
keep me on
cooler.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the jet skiing. I was watching Easy Allies, their review or them reporting on playing the game, and I think it was Blood. I think his name Bloodworth was one of them. Yeah, shout out. I saw him talking about him going out into the ocean and driving around on the ski and how big the waves were. And so I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot of really fun water type effects that'll be happening. So from big waves, from different things that will be jumping across, that will make driving on top of the water just as fun as driving on the road or gliding. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for it.
I find the glider change a little confusing, just because now they're wings. They look more like planes, so I thought there'd be more flying, like maybe a little bit more verticality, but it seems like it just replaced the glider, which visually looks better. It just threw me off because I was like, well, if you're going to change it to planes, I thought it would, maybe there's flying sections, but...
Like one of those flying spiral levels?
Yeah.
Where you got to collect 10 of each item or whatever. That might be a mini game or something, I don't know.
Maybe so I know what you're talking about. I thought that they'd be flying too. It looks cooler as jets, but maybe they'll have more stages, like you're saying, where it's just like there's rings for you to hit that keep you flying for a long time.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, other things that they revealed about this game that's different from the other Mario Karts. One, Grand Prix mode. Now you go from track to track.
Yeah.
And I actually really like how it's done. The first race is the traditional 3 laps. And then when you finish that, every race to the end of the Grand Prix is you start on this an in-between track, and then it leads right into the course.
That's so cool.
And then you just race that.
Yeah.
I think that's excellent.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the in-between races is a cool concept. I wonder how that's going to affect... Well, I guess it's just like they're tacking on an extra part to each race, because once you finish the race, everybody starts off on the end, or once they finish, everybody starts on the in-between race, and then they go through, and then they finish the upcoming race. It does also look like you only get 1 lap of the stage that you get to. So each of those stages, and you remember how I was saying before that I like the idea of the really long stages the most. It's like I'm getting just a bunch of those.
It seems like almost every stage is like that, except for the first of each Grand Prix.
Yeah, so I like that a lot.
Yeah, and they're huge. It's like you're getting the Warrior Mountain level that was just like a race to the bottom. You're getting a lot more of that. The only other thing was the Knockout Tour. I love the idea.
I like
of that.
the idea.
Yeah,
where it's like you get eliminated if you're in the last few places.
Yeah.
It goes like from the top 20 to the like top 16 to top 8 to top 4, and then it's over.
Yeah, and then it's just race for 1.
Yeah, that's a really cool. I just like the innovation that they're. I mean, they're not new ideas. It's not innovative in itself, but putting it in a Mario Kart game is, because I feel like we've had a lot of not gimmicks, but like Double Dash was kind of gimmicky.
Yeah.
I didn't really like having 2 characters on my cart. But 8, did numbers and has the staying power. And so to find things to add on to something to that caliber of game, it's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it usually doesn't change that much. That's why this one feels like, at least from the announcement, because we won't know until we play it.
Sure, yeah.
But it looks so different. It looks like they're really trying to change how you play Mario Kart. So, really dig it. Moving on to the next big game, Donkey Kong.
Yes.
Bonanza.
It looks so good.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I was more excited about, to be honest, Mario Kart or this one. Like, to see Donkey Kong finally back in a 3D platformer, but it to be more action focused is so cool to me. He's the gorilla. I want to punch people.
Yeah.
And like, you didn't get to do that really in Donkey Kong 64.
No.
And so seeing this and seeing how fast and like, it seems like they get to keep that fluidity of him like barrel rolling and just like bouncing into shit. I'm so excited.
At first, I thought it was going to be Donkey Kong Odyssey, and I was like, okay, I'm pumped for this. And then watching the treehouse and the gameplay, it's its own thing.
Yeah.
And it is cool.
Yeah.
I like the underground aspect of it, being able to just tunnel down. I think that's a cool feature.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be extremely satisfying to get to a place and then level everything, just like dig through everything and then look back at your destruction and be like, okay, cool, moving on to the next thing. And I do wonder how terrain is going to reform.
Yeah.
Like, what's that going to work like? Like, if you break a bunch of like important structures, do you load out or like go somewhere else and then come back and it's back? Is it? I wonder how that's going to work. That was my like first thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know it doesn't come back very quickly. Like,
Yeah.
you might have to leave because I saw the time lapse of destruction. And someone did clear out like a whole mountain.
That's
top.
awesome.
Yeah.
And it was cool. And I was like, oh, it's not building itself back up. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also, with this new Donkey Kong, they redesigned him.
Mm-hmm.
And I
It's
actually
not
really
the
like it.
rare Donkey Kong anymore.
Yeah.
This is a Nintendo Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it's crazy too because the artist, I think his name's Jay Bayless. And I'm so sorry if I got your name wrong, but I know it's Bayless at the end. But his design, he's been very positive about it. So that's been so awesome. Just because, you always have to worry about like, oh, what were they just changing it? And are you like, a little like sad about that? And so like, he's like, no, he's like, I think it looks way better than mine. He's like, it's way more expressive. But they still keep a lot of like the core things that he changed. Like he still has the spike, which he didn't have originally. The Miyamoto design didn't do that. So I think this is like a perfect combination
Like blend,
of the Bayless and the Miyamoto
Yeah.
design.
Yeah, I love everything about his design except for his like a Hago face that he has when he sees the bananas. That's the only thing I'm like, I don't like it.
My only thing is I'm like, get those overalls off him.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong wears a tie.
Yeah, he's got a tie already.
I don't-
He's clothed.
He's probably gonna have outfits, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
seems like it.
Yeah. He seems like he's gonna have outfits.
I
So
was just like,
I'm
when
sure
they
there'll be
showed
a
off
classic
the
one.
barrel, I mean the overalls. I was like, that's Mario's thing.
yeah,
No.
he's like Prospector Donkey Kong now. He goes digging for gold. Yeah, he's gonna break literally everything.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. But moving on because they didn't really show too much of that.
quick question I had for you real quick. So you've been playing, you said Donkey Kong Returns recently. It did seem like you're going to have specific stages in Donkey Kong Bonanza that go back to side-scrolling and are homages to old stages. Are you hoping we still get the like silhouette stages that you get in Donkey Kong?
See, I wouldn't say that I hope because I don't want to put that expectation on them. I think what they're doing is already incredible. They don't need to. If they did it though, I'd scream like a little schoolgirl.
Yeah.
Like I would be ecstatic because
Yeah,
the silhouette levels are incredible.
Yeah, those are some of the things I'm excited for, like silhouette levels, the minecart levels, anything underwater, what kind of underwater music they might have, because you know how much
the
of a
music
staple
is
that
so
is.
good.
Yeah.
That's something that I haven't really like paid attention to be completely honest with the trailer or anything, is the music.
Yeah.
I really hope they go and get David Wise back
Yes.
because he's like the greatest composer for
he is.
Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would love to because if they do another underwater level and he's on,
Yeah.
I know I'm about to get the next goated soundtrack. But yeah, very excited. But next up, just because we got quite a few games to go through here, is this one is a third party. It's from a From Software game, The Dust Bloods. Now, we've learned a little bit more since an interview came out with Hidetaka Miyazaki, the director and CEO of FromSoft. This is a multiplayer title.
Yeah.
It sounds like a battle royale, but with 8 players. You pick between... There's over a dozen characters to play as, but only 8 are in a match. And then it seems like the goal is you get in there, and there's multiple ways to get victory points, is what it was described as. And so you can do that by either finding items, like the antique items, or by beating the bosses, or by killing other hunters. The other thing, too, is that they have almost like the spirit summon, but it is just like a random buddy that your character has. So it's not a summoning mechanic. It's not something you customize. It's something that's just part of it.
And these characters, are they predetermined characters, so there's no character customization, or?
Yeah, you can character customize their abilities and their weapons, but you can't you are playing a character.
Okay.
They're preset.
Okay.
Yeah. It looks interesting. It's a Switch exclusive. I will say that my own personal hype did die quite, it pretty much fell off a cliff as soon as I found out that it was a multiplayer only title.
Yeah.
I don't mind multiplayer. Obviously, I play the FromSoft games in multiplayer. That's the funnest part, is like playing with you, Matt, and like all our friends. But I'm not really big into the multiplayer push they're doing with like Night Rain in this.
Yeah.
Because I played Night Rain and it was fun, but it wasn't
Dave.
I'd rather play Monster Hunter if I'm going to play a multiplayer title. But yeah, so we'll see though. It could be a lot better. I would never doubt against Miyazaki. I just personally, my own feelings on multiplayer battle royale is why I'm like,
Yeah, I feel like with Night Rain will really help put into perspective my hype for Dustbloods, because Night Rain is going to be the first experience we have where they're doing something that's a little bit more multiplayer focused and less like their traditional games. So we'll see. If Night Rain's pretty good, then I'll be a lot more excited for Dustbloods. If it's only fun for a little while, because I'll kind of judge your opinion on it first, then I think my hype will also die for Dustbloods. So we'll see.
yeah. Next up, this one was just a CG trailer, so there's not much to say, but Kirby Air Riders.
Yeah, but that CG
Oh,
trailer
yeah.
was so tight. It was so tight. Watching Kirby struggle. So either way, I always love any of the trailers that come out from Sakurai. He knows how to do good trailers. But
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say that's pretty much the only big news is one, a sequel to a game that's 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But two, it's directed by Masahiro Sakurai.
Yeah.
And I will say that a lot of people's interest was like, okay. They see Sakurai, they're like, all right, I'll play it.
Yeah. Are you guys excited for Air Rides? Did you play Kirby Air
I
Rides?
didn't know,
No, I never played
but
it.
I've heard good things
Yeah.
in the last week of people who are like, this is gonna be good,
Yeah.
and so I'll play it. Yeah,
I'll play it.
I played Kirby Air Rides back in the day, but not a ton. Just enough to like enjoy it here and there at a friend's house. It was fun. It's a little bit different than your traditional like kart racer. A lot of it different. There's so many different types of like ways to play. Like you even have like a battle mode. It's very interesting, but I have no idea how they're going to take it into the current era, and also make it different than Mario Kart World.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, it's
what's
coming
gonna
out this year.
Yeah, what's going to make me want to play Kirby Air Rides over Mario Kart World, and will I be fatigued from kart racing by the time that game comes out? You know, but either way, it's Sakurai, so I'll give it a shot.
Yeah. Next up was Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you like Dynasty Warriors, because they're doing it again.
doing
this
it
is
again.
the
Yep.
third,
Yeah,
the third Zelda Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah.
They've been making a big like stink about how this one's actually canon because Age of Calamity
Yeah.
wasn't. I honestly don't believe that. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, because here's the thing: they said the same thing about Age of Calamity, and then I feel like they kind of said, "Oh, it's not really." Once the reaction was, "This is horseshit."
yeah.
Because I heard the story was bad in Age of Calamity, but people enjoyed the game because it's Hyrule Warriors. I feel I have kind of the same feeling towards Age of Imprisonment. I'm like, I bet it's going to be fun for people who like
those games.
those games.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
personally, it didn't tick my interest, especially since like Link's not in it. He's
yeah.
not there during the Age of Imprisonment.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, so you play
He-
as Zelda and all the other characters.
yeah,
Mm.
I'm not like I liked Rauru,
Mm-hmm.
but not enough to play him.
You'll see. Who's the design team that's making the game?
Koei Tecmo.
Koei Tecmo, and they made the most recent Dynasty Warriors. Or
Yeah, they
yeah,
are the ones that only make
okay,
Dynasty
okay.
Warriors.
So I would say that I'm a little bit more excited because the most recent one was really good. So I will still try the game out. I think what pulled me off of Age of Calamity in the first place was that it ran really poorly. So I assume that it'll run really well on the Switch too. And I did like the effects, the combat, and you're right. Like playing as Link was probably my favorite part. So him not being in the game is going to be less of interest for me. But I'm hoping that with hardware, hopefully this story is better. It will, and with them being better at making Musou games nowadays, that it'll actually be something to hold me over until the next Zelda game. So, because I assume that we're gonna have to wait for a little while before the next Zelda
Yeah.
game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom came out 2 years ago.
Yeah. So it's gonna be.
You
a
got
little
a minimum 4 years before you get another
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Probably longer if we're being honest. Speaking of long waits, the next game was Silk Song. And you got about
that's
as
been a long one, right?
it's been like 9 years.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It It's the joke of waiting. Like everyone just puts their clown makeup on at every one of these events.
Yeah,
And
the only other game that is even more of a like joke to wait for is Little Devil Inside. And if that's the only
Yeah.
other one that's a joke more than your game, then that's like, yeah, it's killing me because I love Hollow Knight. That's one of my favorite games of all time, and I was so excited for Silk Song, and they've just played with my emotions for years.
Yeah,
at this
what
point.
what was the time frame? I really think this was only like 3 to 6 seconds that they showed Silk
Yeah,
Song.
yeah.
It was in a
It
sizzle
wasn't
reel.
the long
Yeah,
one.
it's been demoted down to sizzle reel material.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, if I was a company, I wouldn't highlight that. You know
No.
how much shit Microsoft got for saying that it was going to come out that year? Every single comment section was them flaming them, just being absolutely mean because you lied to them. Like, and it's been 2 years since then, and now they're saying it's going to come out this year.
Yeah.
Press X to doubt. That's like, that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I hope it comes out, especially for you. But man, I like my hype. I've been off the station for like 3 stations because
Yeah.
of what they've done with that hype cycle. But if it does come out, this will be the greatest launch year for
Yeah.
Switch.
Yeah, it better come out or else I'm completely off Team Cherry for a while. So
Yeah, I hope that they can not only deliver it, but I hope that it meets people's expectations because the expectations are through the roof after waiting 9 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. Next up was Metroid Prime 4. This is where we got the reveal that they'll use the mouse controls and that it'll be 4K 60 docked in quality mode, 1800p 120 fps. No, I'm sorry, 1080p 120 if you're in performance mode, and then 720p 120 on the handheld. Which is pretty crazy that
It's
a
not
brand new
bad,
game is
yeah.
getting 120 frames support, and it's not like a side scroller. Because
Yeah.
I expect every new Super Mario Brothers game is going to run 120.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's like a given. But seeing Metroid just do that, I'm like, okay,
That's impressive. Yeah.
all right. Because that game looks good.
yeah,
I think visually it looks very impressive.
Yeah.
So really excited for it. Still no release date though. That one's not launching with the Switch.
do you think it's coming this year?
Yeah, they said it's coming
Yeah.
this
Coming
year,
this year,
and
okay.
I'm pretty positive, especially with how much they've shown. It looks pretty ready.
Pretty polished. Yeah, I'm hoping for it.
Yeah. Last 2 things before we close out the news of the Direct is the GameCube app and Switch 2 upgrades.
Yeah.
That GameCube app,
I'm very excited for
Yes. Yeah.
that. I've been waiting.
Soul Calibur. That's all I can say.
Oh, yeah.
Soul Calibur.
Well,
See-
and Wind Waker.
thank you. I was going to say Wind Waker and Soul Calibur 2 just because I'm not the biggest Soul Calibur fan. I thought I was
Mm-hmm.
because my first one was the GameCube one. And I was like, oh, Link is awesome. This game is sick. I've played all the other ones and I'm like, maybe I just like Link. And now they're giving me that with Soul Calibur 2. And also, because it's a Switch Online app, you can play it online
That
with
is
your friends
cool,
or
yeah.
randoms. So that's like extremely cool. But Wind Waker,
Yes.
also the other thing with these upgrades is that they get an upgrade to the resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is a weird resolution. I forgot the number because it's not exactly like 1080
For Wind
or-
Waker?
for all the GameCube
Oh, just all the
games. The way
GameCube
that
ones.
they stretch them,
Yeah.
or how they enhance them because they look good. Everyone
Yeah.
says that, but it's just like it's not a full screen image because it's still standard definition. Where it has the bars on the side, so you don't get that full widescreen. But I am happy to look at Wind Waker without seeing pixels.
No, for sure. Yeah. I jailbroke my Wii U, and I don't know if we can say that on podcast, but
I mean, I don't know what Nintendo's going to
yeah.
do about
Sorry, Nintendo. Please don't write me a letter. I'll put it in my diary if you do, though. And so I just downloaded all the Zelda games off of the Wii U console and the Wii console. It's the Zelda machine.
Yeah.
It's great.
it. Yeah.
There's Jason knows, and he's disappointed that I have not played many of the Zelda games. It's just a genre that, or not a genre, but a franchise that missed me growing up.
Yeah.
But I am a big Link fan, thanks to Smash Bros. So
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's always been a travesty that you have not played what I consider the greatest games of all time. But
Have
Yeah.
you played Ocarina of Time?
No,
Oh,
I have
man.
I have a terrible story about that. I have a terrible story. Do you want to hear it?
I would love to hear
Okay,
it.
so we'll make it quick. So, yeah, I had a friend. I'm not gonna name names. He had a 64. I did not have one. I would go over his house to hang out, and he said, "Yo, we're gonna play the Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. What we'll do is we'll pass the controller each time somebody dies." We were little. We were like in what? It was fourth, fifth grade. I did not know he had already beaten the game multiple times. So I pretty much just watched him, played it, fell asleep
he was
here
just
and there.
really good
Yeah,
at
because he
it.
was really good. He was really good at video games. But he pretty much was just like, yeah, bro, like he just did that to be a shithead, which he's been a shithead to me my whole life.
Yeah.
We've been shitheads to each other now. That's why I'm a little bit of a shithead now. But yeah, it was just so
It's a
fucked
great
up.
band name.
Yeah. But yeah, he had beaten the game before, and so he just essentially wanted an audience for me to watch him beat it again.
Yeah, I had buddies that would basically just make me watch them play games, and I was fine with it because I didn't have a PlayStation, and sometimes we'd play 2-player games.
Yeah.
Like that's how I got really into Tony Hawk,
Mm-hmm.
was because he had a PlayStation, and I was like, yeah, can we play Tony Hawk?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I love that game. But Ocarina of Time was a big one that I just watched, and Breath of Fire 3. I remember, yeah, like having sleepovers and falling asleep on the floor
Yeah.
and waking up and he's still playing Breath of Fire 3. And I'm like, man, we gotta go to sleep.
Yeah.
ain't no sleep for Breath of Fire
No way.
fans. No, that's awesome. Well, not awesome about what
Yeah.
your friend did, but yeah, goodness, missing out on peak
Mm-hmm.
because of someone else's shitty antics.
So have you played Breath of the Wild?
That was the first Zelda
And that's
game.
a different kind of Zelda too.
Yeah. That was the first one that I played and beat.
Okay.
Was
Yeah,
Breath of
then-
the Wild, yeah.
Then, like, the only other option is Skyward Sword, which I wouldn't really consider the most traditional of Zeldas either.
No.
It's like you have to play Twilight Princess or Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Those are like
Those are the ones.
Yeah. I did play a little
peak.
bit of Twilight Princess actually, but I got to the wolf and then I stopped playing.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a rough
that's
part.
That's where I got. I got
That's
to the
rough.
wolf and I was like, yeah, I'm not with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Twilight Princess has a very rough intro.
Mm.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. The last game that was on the GameCube was the F-Zero GX.
Yeah.
I never played that. Looks sick. Can't
It does
wait.
look cool, yeah, with the upscaled graphics and everything.
I'm excited to play that.
Yeah.
Funny story is my dad is the one who used to play that game. I never really got my hands on it, but there's a few games I remember him playing is that and Dead or Alive. And so I just remember watching that and being like, that's
Yeah.
sick. So
These are dad games.
yeah, these are just games I've played with or been around when my dad was
Yeah.
playing. Never seen him play video games again.
My dad got really into World of Warcraft.
That's sick.
Yeah, he was super into it. Well, it started off he got super into Toontown.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember
I
That
remember
is
the commercials for
so
it.
Toontown. That's the Disney MMO.
MMO, yeah.
That's, in my opinion, some of, if not the best MMO combat I've played because it was just
a great game,
turn-based
yeah.
MMO. I loved it, and it was multiplayer turn-based MMO. So
He got super into that, and then I was like, Dad, look at this game. Look at World of Warcraft. You like Warcraft. Let's see
Yeah.
if you like this game. And and then I got a girlfriend, and I was done playing World of Warcraft for a while because
Yeah.
she was like, I don't want you to come play with, come hang out.
yeah,
And so I was like, okay, I'm done playing. And he took over my character
yeah,
and got him to like level 100 or whatever.
Oh, dang.
that's fun.
Yeah.
The last thing from the Switch Direct was Switch 2 upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
I thought these would be free.
Mm.
They're not. They're going to be making
Yeah.
you pay like $10 for each one, unless you have the expansion pass
Right.
online subscription, which I do, which is nice.
Yeah.
That you get the upgrades for free on that one.
Yep.
But not all upgrades.
No.
I think Jamboree doesn't give you the upgrade because they add like
They
additional
added a
content.
bunch of stuff to it.
I think the same thing will be with the Kirby, the Forgotten Land, because it has an expansion as well, which
Yeah.
I'm excited about. But I'm probably going to have to pay for it.
I heard the Pokemon games, like the mainline Scarlet and Violet, I heard they're getting free upgrades.
They're getting free upgrades.
And not
yeah.
like the same type of upgrades that ZA is getting,
yeah.
but like, upscaled graphics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Performance.
Yeah, if they can fix the
upgrades.
performance on those games, I'll be happy because
Yeah.
I actually like Scarlet and Violet, and I stopped playing. Didn't play any of the DLC because I just got tired of how bad it looked.
Yeah.
But if it looks better on the Switch 2, I'll
Yeah.
be very happy.
Yeah, I played almost all of the DLC, but then my Nintendo Switch Online ran out, and I was just too busy to renew it, and I was like, okay, I'm not playing, because I used to battle a lot.
Yeah.
I got the level 100 Charizard with the Mighty Mark on it and everything. It was really cool. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I did not get that. I just have my black Charizard still.
Nice.
From Sword and Shield.
That's cool.
But yeah, that was the Switch 2 Direct. I know that was a lengthy reveal. It was a lengthy show as well. It was like 62 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was pretty impressed. I definitely want to get one.
Yeah.
I don't like what it's going to do to my wallet, but
No.
it's the price of being a gamer, I guess.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, it's the price of being an enthusiast. All right, and with that, we're going to go ahead and take our break. When we come back, we'll be going over the guest language defining game. We got a last boss topic that I feel like is kind of hot right now, and then we'll get into our closing vocab and final credits. All right, and welcome back from the break. We're going to go ahead and get into, I think, probably my favorite thing to do is go over language defining games. So this is when we bring a guest on, or Jason and I bring a game ourselves, where we talk about a game that is important to you in some way. It doesn't have to be your favorite game, your least favorite game, but just something that was memorable to you. What game are you bringing for us to talk about today?
Today I brought Final Fantasy X for the PS2.
Yeah.
I played the HD remaster recently on the Switch, and it was life-changing.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to it. It was actually a life-changing game for me, too. The ending, just the overall concept. But we'll ask you the questions, and I'll relate later. So, first and foremost, what I want to ask about is the story. It's okay if you spoil. The game is old as hell.
It's very old. So, yeah.
So, I want to ask, what stood out to you about the story throughout your entire play session of the game?
I think what I really enjoyed was some of the themes of the game. There was grief and death and just great messages of loss, but there was also light in that, and there were moments of joy, and it just showed how people cope with their grief, and it was, I don't know if that was their intention, but it was moving in the way that they were able to have these characters moving on, doing this mission that they knew was going to end in heartache.
Yeah.
And so, there's it. Do you want me to just give a synopsis?
Yeah. You
Okay.
can. Yeah. Absolutely.
I got some bullet points, but so it starts off in Zanarkand, where Titus, or Titus, which is, it's been argued what his name is.
Titus.
Okay, so we'll call him Titus for the podcast.
Yeah. Because he swims. There's the tide.
It's the tide.
It should have never been Titus.
Yeah, no.
We'll get into that later.
So he's in this
Thanks.
world called Zanarkand, and Sin, which is a great threat in the world, comes and destroys the world. He wakes up after that destruction, and he's in Spira, which is a different. It seems like a different world, and he meets Yuna, who's a summoner, her quest is to defeat Sin, and so he meets the Guardians, and he becomes a Guardian along with them after proving himself, but he's kind of he plays a fool in this world. He doesn't know anything, and so people think that he's being difficult on purpose, or that he's just really dumb, or that his brain has been affected by sin so much that he can't remember anything about this world. And so they go through the temples to gain what are called aeons, and those are summons, basically, like you can call them, and they do a lot of damage, and they're similar summons that have been in other Final Fantasy games.
So you've got Ifrit and Bahamut and things like that, and but you find out that in order to get the final Aeon at the last temple, one of the guardians becomes the Aeon, and Yuna decides not to do that, and that we're gonna fight Sin, who is Titus's father, as it turns out. Like, you learn that, and it's a secret for a long time. Anyway, you defeat Sin in the end. He's the final boss, and there is a point where you realize that Titus will not survive if Sin is defeated.
Yeah, right.
And it's a really it's kind of a hard moment, because you're like, well, this is the main character. After you beat the game, it's supposed to be a happily ever after. He's supposed to marry Yuna. They're gonna this is how it's gonna be. This is the new world, and it's and you struggle with that fact that that's not how it's gonna be, and you have to kill your father, and it's what a great game.
Yeah. No, like, to touch on some of the things that happen throughout the story. So yeah, like, Titus is you as the player are like left in the dark. You don't know why or how he got to Spira until you find out that I believe he's a dream of the Fates. The Fates are like the overarching gods, and it's like they dreamt him into this existence to help them with defeating Sin. But once that is all completed, they're going to wake up and he's going to be gone, and that all that is completed. And so you're going through this this journey to help these people that you fall in love with, especially like Titus falls in love with Yuna, and towards the end, knowing that it's all not for you. But the beautiful thing about the game, and what it meant, why it meant something big to me too, is because beyond the love between Titus and Yuna, it's the closure between him and his relationship with his father. And I actually got the game in a time where I didn't have a great relationship with my father, so having that closure between him and Jecht was like really, really cool.
Absolutely,
you know?
Yeah. I've got notes on that, and I'll touch on that later.
Yeah. So within the story, I want to ask, like, were there any specific moments that stood out to you, and any characters that meant a lot to you?
Okay, well then I'll touch on this now, because it all comes back to Jecht for me.
Yeah.
He is this character who is rough around the edges. Yuna's father was the summoner who defeated Sin before this last time of calm, and Jecht, who is Titus's father, was Yuna's father's guardian, and so he became the final Aeon, and that's how they defeated Sin, and so that's why you have to fight him in the end. But he's in jail when they find him initially. He's drunk in jail, and they're like, we want you to travel with us. You're a skilled fighter, things like that. And you see him soften and become a better person than when he originally came to Spira. He stopped drinking, and I think Titus struggled with that when he found that out, because you find the Jecht tapes. You find little holographic things all over the world that he left behind, and it's basically like home videos. He sets the camera down, and then he talks to his boys, and you find out a lot about how his character changes, and it softened my heart towards him. And so at the end, there's this part where Titus had defeated him, and Jecht's like, "You're gonna cry. You always cry. Look at you crying." And Titus is like, "I hate you," and Jecht is like, "Save it for later." And the way that he said it was so loving, because after that, Titus is like, "You're right. I have to save this. We have to save the world." We got time to cry later. Let's deal with this problem at hand. And it was just a moment where you realized that Titus obviously didn't hate him, but he had so much resentment towards him, and that finally he got closure, and he was able to really get the closure that he needed from his dad all that time, because his dad took off 10 years ago, in his timeline, and so he hadn't seen him for 10 years, and so it was able to give him the closure that he needed.
Yeah.
And I think that's the last time I ugly cried at a game.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that was. I think I ugly cried when she goes to hug him and like falls through. That's the part that got me.
Yeah.
Into the game. That was just like, no, God, no, not like this, not
Yeah.
my boy.
and not at this time. Like, I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah. So touching on like the cast of characters, because in every Final Fantasy game they always have a colorful cast.
Yeah.
Which of them stood out to you the most, and why is it not Waka, the racist?
So, you know what's funny is Waka's voice is John DiMaggio.
Yeah.
Who is Bender from Futurama, and Jake the Dog from Adventure Time.
And Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got such a great voice. I loved all the characters. I didn't really care for Kimari because he was kind of a nothing.
Yeah,
he didn't have a lot of lines.
Yeah.
There weren't many interactions for you to. I loved Orin.
Yeah. Yes.
As the mentor, and he was such a beast in combat. He was so strong, and I think his was the only celestial weapon that I got. But we liked Lulu. My wife called her Chesty LaRue.
Chesty LaRue.
And it's funny, some of the things that I enjoyed about that game was the design of all the characters. Tetsuya Nomura, he's the greatest character designer. He gave us Sephiroth. He gave us Kingdom Hearts. He's the director on Kingdom Hearts. Gave us all those characters, and Sonic Adventure. No, he took a lot of inspiration, I think, from Sonic Adventure, but his Final Fantasy characters always have so many belts.
Yeah.
Lulu had the belt dress. Squall has belts up his arms.
Yeah.
And it's funny because people would tease him about it and be like, why do you have so many belts on your characters? And he was like, you know what? I'm putting more belts on them.
Yeah.
And so that's why some of the characters have an insane amount of belts.
They have an insane amount. There was a small phase I went through where I wore multiple belts because of him. It was very dumb.
I love that. That's so good.
But moving on from the story, visually, so kind of like how you're saying about the character design, what were some of the things that stood out to you or were super memorable about Final Fantasy X?
So the part about Sonic Adventure that I think there's a lot of games that came out in the early 2000s that were like by the ocean. Sonic Adventure 2, Kingdom Hearts had ocean, Wind Waker, Mario Sunshine. All these games kind of had a coast aesthetic, and it was very early 2000s, and it reminds me of like drinking a Sobe. You remember those?
Oh, Sobe,
like that
strawberry banana. That was my go-to.
It's so good, and those games remind me of my early teenage years.
Yeah,
and so it's interesting to go back and play this game because this is the first time I'd played it, and it's like, wow, this is so 2000s.
Yeah,
but in a good way.
No,
I like it. I like the design a lot about it.
I agree. And when you make the comparison to the characters looking similar or the design, I never really put two and two that Sin looks a lot like Chaos.
Yeah.
So similar type of like giant amalgamation of fish, colossal creature type thing. So, yeah. Aside from that was so one of my favorite things about like going into a game store, right, is like the box art. And almost every single one of the Final Fantasy games, I'm a big fan of like the box art and the symbol that they do for the title.
Yeah.
The
I don't know what to call it, but like just the splash art that they have
that they always have that kind of gives you a glimpse into what the story's about. But yeah, I think that one is Yuna and Titus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but the blue and the yellow one swooping. it's it's cool. I like it.
Was there anything else visually that really stuck with you from the game?
Visually, well, I like the way that it was animated, and it's interesting how some of the speech doesn't, like, they would say sentences that didn't quite make sense because of the way the translation is. They wanted to be able to fit an English sentence onto a Japanese anime, because it was all Japanese animation still originally, and then they put the English dub over it, and so some of the translations are a little wonky, and I like how they tried to make it match.
Yeah.
I love this game.
Yeah, no, I do too. I think it's my favorite Final Fantasy. So, moving on to kind of like what you're talking about with the translations, music and audio.
So good.
Yeah, what is it? The Xanarkin soundtrack?
Xanarkin, yeah. For the title screen, they play To Xanarkin.
Yeah, To Xanarkin is one of my favorites.
One that I really liked is Calm Before the Storm.
Mm-hmm.
That's Nobuo Uematsu. He did all of the Final Fantasies up until this one. He did partial of this one, but he had help from Masashi Hamazu, and he does kind of more ambient. I call it beat boop music.
Beat boop?
Yeah, where it's I don't know, it's kind of more electronic.
Yeah.
Sounding, whereas Uematsu does like the orchestras and the pianos and things like that. But not in a bad way, just a different way. And I like both of their contributions to the soundtrack. It's so good. My wife plays arrangements of a lot of the songs.
Yeah.
From all the Final Fantasy games, but especially Calm Before the Storm was one that she picked out. Like when I was playing, she was like, "What's this song?" Yeah. And it's nice that the soundtrack will tell you what song's playing.
I'm not the greatest at always remembering the name of tracks, but I remember liking the song from whatever the Lightning Temple that you went to.
Yeah, the Lightning Temple was good.
And then especially when you fight Seymour's, Seymour. Also, I hate that
Seymour's battle theme is so good.
Yeah.
And I hate that he's one of the most hateable characters I've ever fought.
Yes. One of my first rage moments come from him, and not specifically from fighting him.
Yeah.
It's just small tangent. It's when he kissed Yuna. I was like, yo, I hate that man. I hate that man. When he forced kissed Yuna, I was like, I have to kill him. Don't you kiss my girl.
I was so angry because he like swooped in and tried to just jack your spot, basically. Yeah. Like you were going off on this journey to save the world, and he's like, I'm gonna save the world. That's how he talks. And save the world by marrying Yuna and then fighting Sin. And I just what a weird guy.
Yeah, I don't fuck. All my niggas hate Seymour.
Yeah, incredible character design. Yeah, like to make me hate him so much.
Yeah, I hate everything about him. His hair, his outfit, everything about him. But definitely loved his song.
His battle theme is really good.
Yeah.
Is that the dun 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 dun?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that song is incredible. I didn't even play 10, and I love that song.
Yeah.
The arrangements that they did for the battle theme is probably one of my favorites, aside from Sephiroth's theme, One Winged Angel. The instrumentals they've done for that is really good. But this one, they have like a James Bond horn section, and it sounds really really pleasing to my ears. You know, it's like, oh, I'm ready to fight. Listening to this song, it's fun.
Was aside from those tracks, was there any specific, like, I want to say, musical moment that was a big deal for you?
When they were in the lake.
Yes.
What was that called?
I don't remember the name of the track, but when they
it was this lake.
The music that was the first kiss, right?
Yeah,
it was in the lake. Yeah. When they're swimming through the water,
that was a really cool part. I don't remember that song name, but I enjoyed.
I like that one.
All the cinematics in that was really good.
Yeah, there's that one, and then there's a song when Yuna's doing her first.
The first sending.
The first sending. Yeah,
that was beautiful.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
I like that a lot.
And small shout out to 10-2. The opening song for 10-2, What Can I Do For You? That song was so tight. I don't care what nobody says.
The pop one?
Yeah, the pop one. Yeah. I love that. I love that song. Okay, so moving on from music, gameplay. What what were some of the, like, how did you feel about the combat? How did you feel about Blitzball, especially? Like,
That's funny because I brought up both of those things. I thought the combat was tight. Like, it was smooth.
yeah.
It was really good, especially coming off of like some other games that it didn't flow as well. So in the HD remaster, they do a lot of, in other HD remasters that Square Enix has done in 7, 8, 9, they do the stat boost, the speed boost, and no random encounters. But the HD remaster didn't have any of those. So it was basically like playing the same game. And so I got a lot of, I put a lot of time in. Well, I was pushing 50 hours at the end just because I had to grind so much to try and get to a point where I could beat the final boss. And then I thought about going and fighting all the Dark Aeons, which is like post-game stuff. And I never got around to that because they would swap me down. But the graphics got an upgrade and the performance got an upgrade. But as far as Blitzball goes, I was not good at it. And I think just because I didn't take the time to strategize as well as I could have, because I've read strategy guys and they're like, yeah, make this, like the Bulls from the 90s, like the best Blitzball team to ever be created. And I think if I would have taken the time, I could have done better at Blitzball.
Yeah. No, I played a lot of the Blitzball. Spent way too much time in the first game that you come across, like putting it all together. Xanderkin Abes for life, but yeah, Blitzball was really fun. I love the concept, and I kind of always look forward to any other type of mini game in upcoming Final Fantasy games that'll give me that same feeling, for better or for worse. Even if the game is bad, I like the fact that there's always a like a game, Chocobo Racing, some type of mini game that is a little bit different than the traditional combat,
the actual game. Yeah.
But when it comes to gameplay and the combat, how did you like how they handled different characters, the backline?
I liked it a lot, actually. I liked how, well, one, it was a pure turn-based game because since 4, I believe, they've had the attack bar.
ATB?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that battle system, while is genius and I like it a lot, it allowed me to think. And I like that. And being able to pull people from your bench and use them in real time was nice. And it had the counter on the side, the turn counter, so you could see, oh, my turn's coming up, but if I use haste now, I could get an extra turn in before he attacks. And so just being able to see turn order is really good too.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a lot of UI stuff, but I enjoyed. I think they did a really good job with the battle system. I'm having a hard time with Final Fantasy VIII's battle system, but it's the same team. 8's team created 10 as well. Yeah.
Well, I guess they definitely improved on.
They improved, yeah. They, in my mind, maybe they think it was a whopping success, but I don't. It's hard. It's hard to get along with.
Yeah. No, I understand. Okay, and then moving on to the last part, impact. What kind of impact would you say this game has had on you?
So I pulled a journal entry that I wrote, and it says, I haven't felt like this about a game for a long time. I haven't walked aimlessly around my house formulating strategies like this for a long time. A lot of odd behaviors that come up when I'm stuck on a particularly difficult puzzle or boss. And so I remember writing that, and I was like walking around outside my house, kicking a rock, like, how am I going to do this? And I think the last time I did that was when I beat Chrono Trigger for the first time.
Yeah.
And Lavos is one of the hardest bosses I've ever fought, but I had to take like 5 days off from playing that game, like from the point where I got frustrated and then took a 5-day break and then came back to it, and I had refreshed all of my strategies in my mind, and so I had to do that for 10. I took a few days off. I didn't think about it for a while, or I thought about it too much to the point where I had to say, okay, I'm not going to play this. And then when I pick it back up, I was able to beat the boss, and it was wonderful. But just that it had that kind of impact that I had to write it down was it's funny, but also interesting.
Yeah. No, it's every now and then you come across games that really what's the word, take you away.
Yeah.
In that kind of way, and that was one of them. It's only happened to me with a few games, but that's what gives them so much staying power.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I'm happy you brought that game. That's one of my favorite games. Love
you.
Final Fantasy
Yeah.
X. I think that it should always be given its flowers. Aside from Final Fantasy VII, I think that's one of the best ones that that Square has made,
For sure.
and I hope
agree
that
with
we
that.
get more of those in the future.
Yeah.
You know, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, with that, we'll move on to the last boss topic. Take it away, Jason.
Yeah, you know, you see the health bar, you hear the music, the final boss is here, and got a pretty hot topic. You know, he's got a big attack with this one. Nintendo has recently raised the price on video games. Mario Kart World is selling for $80, and that's US, $90 for our friends over across the pond. And so the question I want to ask is, what do you think the ripple effect on the video game industry will be? Because not every, like, with Nintendo, they're only charging this for Mario Kart World. Donkey Kong will be $70, and a bunch of other games are just the normal 70 or 60. Like Street Fighter 6 is on Switch 2, and it's only going to be 60. But I think everyone kind of wonders, what's GTA going to do after hearing
Yeah.
the $80?
I think it's interesting because there are games that are coming out, big, beautiful indie games like Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Yeah.
It's selling for $50 right
Yeah,
now.
it's only $49.
And,
99.
you know, if you have like PS Plus or whatever, you can get a discount on it too, I think, until the selling day.
It's
But
on Game Pass, but
yeah, it will be on Game Pass, yeah.
oh, and it's got a discount on PS.
It's got a
Plus?
discount on PS
Wow,
Plus.
I didn't even know that. That's sick.
And so I just think if you can sell a game that people want to play at an affordable price, you're probably going to sell a lot more copies. The exception being Nintendo. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah, they get away with it.
they get away with it because people are going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And I think the only way to combat that is to buy the bundle, because you get Mario Kart for what, $50 if you buy the bundle.
Yeah, so it's like $30 off
Yeah.
essentially. But I mean, is it really though? You're still
Right.
spending $500 plus.
You're spending a lot of money still, but
because it's $500 before tax.
right. It's interesting because I saw like a meme or something on Instagram, and it was saying that the price for the total Switch 2 bundle with Mario Kart and the camera and like a Pro controller is still less than a PS5 Pro base console. And so like if you're Nintendo's not getting into the console wars, it's still cheaper. It's just the NES, the original NES today with inflation would be $550 easily. Just because of the innovation of the hardware and how new it was. And so yes, we're going to pay it, and yes, we're going to complain about it, and yes, we're going to have fun.
Yep. Yeah. What about you, Troy? What do you think this will
How it
this
will
will
affect? I think it. I don't know. So I've gone back and forth on it, thinking that this is going to affect like the inflation of other gaming, companies' game prices. But like you said, like this is Nintendo. We don't. Other companies aren't having the same success when they sell their games that Nintendo does with pretty much every product that they sell. So they might not move to that same price. You know, it'll be I think we're going to be in a weird place for a little while where Nintendo, where it does have probably the most outdated hardware, is still going to have the most expensive software compared to everybody else for a little while.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
And this might just be a one-off thing. We just don't know.
Say because I think it's mostly going to be the big Mario and Zelda games.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're lesser known franchises that they would take the risk of charging the up price. Personally, like I don't see a world where Pikmin 5 gets announced and they're going to charge us $80 for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because then nobody's going to buy that.
Yeah, because
They're gonna
Pikmin
kill.
already struggles to get 1 to 3 million. Why would you put more weight on it? Like Mario Kart 8 is 60 plus million. Like they know you're going to buy it. They're
Yeah.
like, we can put $80 on it because we know that you want to go woohoo.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me personally, I think that the industry is going to have a lot of experiment with this. That's the ripple effect. I think is that I think some companies will try to hop on this train. I don't think a lot will. Like I don't think FromSoft will.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if, like, sorry to interrupt, like Naughty Dog's upcoming game, Intergalactic. What's the price range on that going to be? Because is that not first party?
Yeah, it's first party.
Yeah, and it's going to be a big game that they put a lot of money into, which they have a large pedigree now with PlayStation. So, like, and then how are people going to compare that game to like Mario Kart? Like, if it does come out at its $60 price and it's as like innovative as they say it's going to be, what is that going to do to the market? So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just one of those things too. I'm like, I do think like GTA can probably get away with it just because if there's any other game that's as like high up as Mario Kart, it's Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
But I hope not. I hope that this is only a Nintendo greed thing.
I hope.
But we'll see. Here's the other aspect though I have to mention. I do think that like Nintendo never sells you early access.
Yeah.
They don't really do microtransactions. So I do wonder if that plays into effect because I think that GTA 6 will launch at the normal $70, but I guarantee you 1 week early access you're paying $120.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's still going to sell.
And you
like
get
crazy.
some costumes.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely wonder if we're going to get Mario Kart maps and stuff for free for having the expansion pass, like the other Mario Karts. Because if we still have to pay for them, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Well, you know what's crazy is that the expansion pass is still marketably cheaper than PS Plus. PS Plus is $80 a year.
Yeah.
And this is only $50 a year. So I wonder. I wouldn't say that Nintendo really screws you on value when it comes to that. I'm not exactly happy about paying $80, but I am a bit confident that this Mario Kart is substantially bigger than Mario Kart 8. Box release, not with the 96 courses DLC, but but yeah. That was any other thoughts on the price and the ripple effect?
I think there will be a snapback eventually, but we're just gonna have to live through it for a while.
Yeah. Not happy about it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the boss has been defeated. The music stopped. We're ready to move on to video game vocab. So today's word is rendering in the context of video games. Rendering refers to the process of generating the images and visuals, including lighting, textures, and effects that you see on the screen from the game's 3D and 2D data. Specifically what you see at the current moment, because video games use real-time rendering. That's why you'll sometimes see images like loading in and out that are high and low detail. It's because of rendering. So if you ever are listening to like some tech video and they're like, yeah, the rendering is the reason why this is doing that, now you know. You're welcome. But with that, we're about to move on to final credits. But before final credits, Travis, you got social media? Do you want people to know where they can find you on the web for some takes about Final Fantasy?
I don't really have I've got a personal Instagram, but nothing really. I mean,
you don't have to share it. I was just wondering if you wanted.
No, I mean, nah.
It's okay.
It's all good.
That's totally fine.
I appreciate it though.
Yeah, just wanted to give you the chance.
No, thank you. That's generous.
Well, just so if anyone knows, you can always find us at Game Language Pod on Twitter, on Instagram.
Instagram, Game Language, all one word, super easy.
Yeah,
unless you can't spell language, which I struggle with that sometimes. So
yeah, it's pretty easy to tell us where we've got the same profile on each one. It's just the Game Language cover that you probably see on the screen or on the Spotify or any podcast service. You can also find me specifically at Jason the Irish Guy. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky. And then where can they find you, Troy?
Nowhere.
Okay. Yeah,
I'm a nomad. They can find me on Instagram, the Game Language Podcast, all one word.
Awesome. Well, with that, we're going to get into final credits. And Travis, it's going to be your turn.
Wow, thank you.
And so with that, it's time to get into the final credits. It's the last part of the show where we give you 30 seconds
Uninterrupted.
to say whatever your heart desires,
Be it salty
or sweet.
or say nothing at all.
The mic is yours.
Tell us what's on your mind.
In 3, 2, 1.
Oh, yeah, I just will say hi to my wife, Jess, and thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
This has been fun. That's all I have. Thank you.
15 seconds of silence.
Zeppelin rules.
Cut. Game Language is recorded at Grizzly Voices Studios in Mesa, Arizona. Our producers are Jason Flynn and Troy Brown. Our intro music is our personal track, Penguin Symphony. Our outro music is Jump by Snail's House, also provided by Riot Music. Our editor and sound engineer is Adonis Shipman.